Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Attack the First Baseline, a WPBL podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WPBL. We're your hosts, John and Kristen Barber, and today we're here to talk about the inaugural weekend of the WPBL, the Women's Professional Baseball League. There's a whole lot of history and 4 teams to choose from, plenty of players to love, a national anthem that went kind of awry, and a lot to talk about. But before we do, we have to introduce our very special guest who was boots on the ground at the event, friend of the pod, Travis. Travis, welcome to the first episode of this brand new podcast. How are you?
I'm well. It was fun being there and glad to be here and talk women's baseball. Gives me a nice break from women's basketball in the upcoming fantasy playoffs that I'm hoping to make. Not really sure. It's good to be here and be on the pod.
Absolutely. Very happy to have you, Kristen. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this. I used to be a huge baseball fan. I would say less so in my recent years. I did play softball growing up. I was a catcher. I could have played in this league had I not quit when I was in 8th grade. But that's my story.
Would have been a long way to go. I was not good at baseball. Baseball of the major sports is probably my 4th favorite, I would say. So I've never been the highest on
the 4 majors.
It's the 4 majors. Oh, I go back and forth between that and hockey, and then you got to have soccer in there somewhere. But like basketball is the first love. However, this is a baseball podcast, and while it is in a basketball podcast timeline, we're here to talk about baseball. But real quick, Travis, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience? What's your deal? How do you know us? Like, you can talk about basketball here.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I live in rural Illinois with a cat named Sonia Catron, named for Sonia Citron, the WNBA player. But know y'all from the 32 Fans Fantasy Football League that I was in for season 2, that y'all were in season 1, and then decided that I wanted to start enjoying women's basketball, kind of attacking my baseline knowledge there of those kind of things, and kind of dove head first, I think, like into it kind of. But I mean, like, I've always liked women's sports and women's basketball. I just never have taken that dive into being more than just going to games and just like watching, or every so often those kind of big headline things that like ESPN and everybody tells you to talk about. And so like when I lived in Ohio and I was working for a church there, the athletic director for Youngstown State University was part of my church, or his mom was, and so I always had like front row seats to like the Youngstown State women's basketball team games, and like had some of that privileged access to like players and the coaching staff and things like that. So it was kind of neat to be a part of that. But I never, outside of that, it was like they're like Horizon League D1, which is still really good and they're still really talented players. But they're not going to beat Ohio State or win any of those big NCAA bid kind of tournaments, Sweet 16s, whatever. But like I said, big fan of going to the games and just vibing and hanging with the crowds. For me, like I just, yeah, it's neat to see that, and I think the skill set is different, and more technical, and I think that's really what I like most about that. But I mean, like for me growing up, like I played sports the whole time growing up. Like I was a big baseball guy through like freshman year of high school, but I was a runner, track star, through high school and college. And I went to a small or D3 school in Chicago, and that's basically all my sports stuff there. But
Your athletic history.
yeah, my athletic history. Um, but yeah, big fan, Cubs guy for the MMLB.
Yes.
But yeah, it's fun. I'm super excited about this league, and just kind of like the way that like the talent's there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like to think that this has been so long coming. And it's like, what have we been doing? Like this has been such an untapped wealth of talent that we just haven't done anything with for 70 years. And like you're watching some of these players, like, and some of these people have been playing for years with like Savannah Bananas, or like in like Banana League, and which is a completely different thing than everything, but like just wild to think like, oh, they've been there, we just haven't noticed it, and now somebody is giving them a stage and a platform to do these things, and it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. I'm very glad that through the connection that we had from Some Silly Game, which is a very niche reference that very few listeners of this podcast will understand, that you become such a big fan of the WNBA, and then with the announcement of the WPBL, you were so excited to be there for opening weekend that we get to have this conversation with you, because I'm sure there are plenty of people listening to this that didn't have the opportunity to make it to Springfield to see the games in person. Fortunately, you were able to watch them on ESPN, but even there, they were kind of like hidden behind a bunch of menus. So there's still room to get the word out.
Yeah, and some people don't even know it exists. Like
that too.
Or they think you're talking about the AUSL, like the softball league, and like
no, it's not that.
No, it's not. It's not that. That's a completely different professional women's league. That is also crushing it, with super talented, athletes and everything. So, yeah, it's just a, really cool opportunity that, I was like, I'm not going to miss being at the first thing when I have no excuse not to, know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. A good mindset. So where do we want to start here? Of the greater discussion, should we do history? Should we talk about the teams in the league? How do we get here?
Whatever Travis wants to talk about first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all right, we can dive backwards, and then, or I mean, from the beginning, and I guess that makes most sense. So like,
sure.
If you're unfamiliar with the WPBL, the Women's Professional Baseball League, right? But you've seen the movie A League of Their Own, or you've watched the Amazon Prime series A League of Their Own, that's kind of what we're talking about. Which the Amazon Prime kind of series A League of Their Own was actually some of she'll come up here in a little bit probably. Her name's Maybelle Blair, but she was one of the advisors for the series, and she was the 100-year-old, 99-year-old woman that played for the Peoria Red Wings leagues in the 40s, team in the 40s, and she threw out the first pitch on Saturday. But so anyway, yeah, super super dope. But so 70 years ago, like in like 43, the guy Philip Wrigley, so like if you think of Wrigley chewing gum, the guy who owned the Cubs at the time, that family, sets up AAGSL, the American Girls Softball League, All American Girls Softball League. Starts in 43, and they go through some different names and some changes for a few years, because people had issues with underhand pitching or smaller baselines and so on until like 1950s, and then it changes permanently to the All American Girls Ball League, or All American Girls Baseball League. And so this whole time that everything's going on, there's all kinds of things that are going on with rules, and this is the time where like obviously World War II is going on,
Yeah.
and like Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio and Stan Musial and like Jackie Robinson, like all these guys, are either drafted or volunteered or whatever, and they're serving overseas. And so the MLB is kind of like not on pause, but it's like not all the stars are kind of gone to serve and do stuff.
Yeah.
And so the commissioners or founders like of this league want to make sure that people were just as excited for a higher level of play for baseball, right? Like this is going to be the morale for the people at home. And so they extend like the base paths and do all these things, and they extend the pitching distances to the major league level, and the base running rules like leadoffs and so on and so forth, and the 9 players instead of 10 players that softball has. And so throughout all this time, like there's like these scouts that Wrigley like sends out across the country and like internationally and like into Canada and stuff, and they have tryouts all over America. And there were 75 people who were invited to Chicago for the final tryout, and of the 75, there were 60 people total for the inaugural season of the All-American Girls League. And so there was 4 non-major league cities that were chosen because they were in close proximity to Chicago for HQ. So it was like Kenosha and Racine, Wisconsin, Rockford, Illinois, and then South Bend, Indiana. And all of them were funded half by Wrigley at first, and then the city covered the other half of the operating expenses, and then anything that was over budget was covered by Wrigley. So again, he's like investing in this league because of morale, because of this, because they want to keep things going. And maybe pause to say, like, I'm sure there's probably some underlying things there as well of like money, yada yada yada.
Almost certainly, right? Yeah.
But the girls that were playing like couldn't have like another job outside of this, and they had salary. They were paid salaries, like $45 to $85 a week, and they had all kinds of other standards like morality clauses and female chaperones and rules of conduct and stuff. But if you wanted to guess, for inflation adjustment, what would $45 to $85 a week be?
Ooh,
5 sounds kind of like a lot.
And this is
1940s.
1940s,
50s, something like that.
5. What? I'm trying to think. Like a car costs like
I'm not the math person in
$1,200.
this household.
85. Okay, is this a weekly salary?
Yeah.
Is it like, I don't know, is it like $1,500?
Let me just check my notes here, John. In 1943, $45 a week would be $890 in today's dollars. So, they're making between $900, $1,800 or whatever a week, like modern day dollars, like playing baseball, right?
Sure.
So, when we think of that, like I'm thinking of that like in relation to like the CBA that just passed for the WNBA. It's like,
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm like, in 1943, we were paying people $4,000 a month. We were paying them enough to be professional athletes, and then in this is a baseball podcast, not a basketball.
No, it's crazy though when you put it into context how slow that even modern basketball leagues, and I guess they were ahead of their time. And maybe that's just because Wrigley was able to foot so much of the bill that he was like, I'm willing to pay top dollar for, quality talent or something. But it's pretty interesting.
People loved their chewing gum back then.
To
be able to fund it. But anyway, so the league starts play on May 30th of 1943, and it's South Bend Blue Sox at the Rockford Peaches, and then the Kenosha Comets at the Racine Bells. So they played 108 games between the 4 teams, and it was May through September. The top team won the pennant, and the top 2 played in the playoffs. The Comets ended up winning the first championship.
Of course they did.
Yeah, classic Racing.
Comets win.
Comets always
win. Yeah, that's right.
I like the alliteration of Kenosha Comets. I do find it funny that we have, Comets, obviously Houston Comets to connect it real quickly to the WNBA, and then the Bells are here as
Yeah.
like this lingering reminder of like
Like,
the people that want to name the Philadelphia team the Bells, and I'm like, please, no, don't look back at
don't,
that. Don't look back
don't.
at early women's baseball, please.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
So they had the first season, they had like 180,000 people that attended all the games or whatever.
Okay.
And then they expanded and did spring training, which was held in Peru, Illinois, which is like 45 minutes from where I live right now.
Cool.
And they added 2 new teams, the Milwaukee Chicks and the Minneapolis Millerettes.
Okay.
And so, but then they found out that expanding to like the big cities was really difficult because the thing with big cities is like there's always things to do, even in a war, you know? And so attendance wasn't like up to snuffs. And so a leading cause for Wrigley to get out of business, he ended up selling the organization to this advertising executive, Arthur Meyerhoff. And so the Chicks and the Millerettes were picked up by Grand Rapids, Michigan. They kept the Chicks, and Fort Wayne, Indiana, changed the name to the Daisies. In 1945, and they played games at Army camps and vet hospitals, and attendance grew in those 2 years from 180,000 to almost 450,000.
Nice.
And then they start adding new things like sidearm pitching in 1946 and overhand pitching in 1948. Illinois Red Wings, again, like 45 minutes for me, were added. Muskegon, Michigan Bells in 48. And then Springfield Sallies, Chicago Colleens were added as like feeder systems.
The Chicago Colleens. I read that in your notes. That is insane.
That's
Yeah.
The Sallies, I guess I've heard that before, but Colleens just feels like so out of the blue.
Yeah. And so the Sallies and the Colleens like disbanded after that year.
Okay.
And the peak attendance was 1948. They had like 910,000 people show up to games in these like kind of mid-sized cities across the states, right? Like these aren't huge cities. Like I mean, I don't know how many people like Peoria, Illinois has, but it's probably like 150,000 people or something like that. Like, so that's kind of cool. But basically, so those are like the teams that remain until like 1940 or 52. There's really only 6 teams left. And so by the final season, the 6 teams were Fort Wayne, South Bend, Grand Rapids, the Kalamazoo Lassies, and then Rockford Peaches. But basically, over the whole breadth of that league, there were like 600 women who ended up playing professionally. And one of them was that, like I said, Maybelle Blair, and she played in 1948 for the Peoria Red Wings. But you might be wondering, John and Kristen, why are they playing all of their games in Springfield, Illinois?
Yeah.
It is a good question.
When the teams are in New York, Boston, San Francisco, and Los Angeles.
I do wonder that.
Right. So part of the reason is the league has exclusive use to Robin Roberts Stadium, right? Like that's part of it is they have exclusive use to that, and it's geographically central. You know, that just makes a smart marketing sense. But in terms of history, the Springfield was a site where 2 women's teams were paid to play baseball in 1875.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So the legend has it, from what I've heard in Springfield lore and history, is that it was a cross between a baseball game and a burlesque show.
Whoa.
which you had my curiosity, and now you have my interest.
Interesting.
But would you like to take a guess at what the team names were in 1875 for this game?
Okay, there were two teams.
2 teams that were playing.
Okay. How blue are we talking? Well, it's like, I don't know, 1875. They're probably like, is it like more of a baseball name? No, I don't think so.
It's consider it more like a physical appearance name.
Okay. Oh, physical appearance.
Oh.
I was gonna say like the brassiers or something like that, or the corsets or something like that.
The blondes and the brunettes.
Oh, okay. I probably could have gotten there.
Which is pretty funny. So that's just like,
did they have to be blonde or
I have
brunette?
to imagine.
Okay, because that happened in basketball, in women's basketball. It was literally the team was the redheads. They were all redheaded.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Didn't know
Obviously, I
that.
don't know when, a long time ago.
lore drop. That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
that's funny. 1875. That's crazy. That
Yeah.
one of the first women's professional baseball games, if you want to, I mean, paid games, I suppose, with paid female athletes. But
Hmm.
um, so that's the background of like where we're at and like how we got to 2026, right?
Okay. Makes sense.
So it's been 70 years
Yeah.
since all of that has been going on, and like in the interim 70 years, like there are teams that were like kind of around, and like they were like barnstorming teams, so like there wasn't like a central kind of hub of a league from my understanding. And I'm, again, willing to be wrong on any of this, so don't come for me in the comments. But or don't blame John and Kristen for this. But from my understanding, they were kind of like barnstorming teams that would go and play like minor league teams, or like go and play, wherever, specialized things.
Hmm.
But now, yeah, now we've got so we got 4 teams. We've got the San Francisco Firebells, the New York Heights, the Los Angeles Queens, and the Boston Hunters. The cool thing about this is that all the teams are named in honor of like famous women or women of history that from like those communities and those areas. So do you want to start with one in particular, or how do you want to?
Well, maybe John can reveal his
Yeah.
team.
Yes,
Start.
I will reveal the team that I have chosen to back, and there's a very easy reason,
Hmm.
as it relates to my following of baseball years ago. There's a player by the name of Monet Davis who is very top billing in this league. She's a pitcher for, as I understand it, the LA Queens,
Correct.
and she was a member of the Pennsylvania Little League team that made it all the way to Williamsport when she was 12 or 13, wherever that was. And it was like must see TV watching Monet pitch. She was that electric.
How old were you
How old was I?
when you
I
were?
think, well, what? Monet is 25. So I was like 17, 18.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, I was like, yeah, this is sick. Like
Hmm.
they're featuring, my state is featuring the cool,
Yeah.
girl pitcher
Hmm.
on the Little League team. So knowing, and we've had the opportunity to see Monet speak
Hmm.
at an event before, and she's just very chill, very cool. So it was like a natural place for me to go. So I'm an LA Queens fan, reluctantly supporting an LA baseball team with how I feel about the Dodgers.
Sure.
Yeah.
But go Queens. Why don't we talk about the Queens?
Yeah, so the LA Queens, name inspired by Lizzie Murphy, who is also known as the Queen of the Diamond.
Mm.
So she broke barriers and was one of the first women, or was the first woman, to play against Major League Baseball players in 1922. Um, from my understanding, what I found is that she came in to play against the Red Sox in the 4th inning of this kind of charity game that was going on. And she also would play in an NL All-Star game against the Boston Braves. So Lizzie Murphy went on to play in the Negro Leagues. And in one game actually got a hit off of Satchel Paige, if you know that name,
Wow. Yeah.
and had a career batting average of like 300.
Okay.
In one of the interviews, Satchel Paige, I guess, was asked if he let up on throwing to her because she was a woman, and his catcher was like, "No, I can testify that my hand hurt." Like he did not let up. So she was pretty dope. They're managed by Eric Young. So he played 15 years in the major leagues in the MMLB, and he had like a 283 average and had 3 seasons where he had over 50 steals. He was drafted in an expansion draft to the Colorado Rockies in '93, and he's most known for in the first game at the Rocky Stadium. I wanted to say Mile High, but I don't think that is that right? I don't
I
know.
think I was gonna say, is it Coors? It's Coors.
Coors, yeah,
Field.
Coors Field. The first home game for Coors Field, he's the leadoff hitter, and he hits a home run.
Oh.
So first game, first at bat, Eric Young hits a home run. And most recently, he was a first or third base coach for the Anaheim Major League team.
Mhm.
They've got a couple other coaches. Jamel Weeks, they played for Oakland, Boston, Baltimore, San Diego, a couple of different places. And Emma Charlesworth Seiler, and she was a former minor league umpire. So that's kind of the makeup of the background there for the Queens, and like the manager and coaches and stuff. And then sticking to the left coast, best coast, as they say, as my friend Tim would say.
Listener Tim, that is.
Yeah, listener Tim. The San Francisco Firebells, named in honor of Lily Hitchcock Coit, who's also known as Firebell. And she was a volunteer firefighter in San Francisco and those kind of things. They're managed by Matt Williams, and he played 17 years in the MLB, won 4 Silver Sluggers and 4 Gold Gloves at third base. And in 94, which was the last time the MLB went on a strike, he was actually leading the league in home runs at that time, before it was a shortened season because of the lockout there. And he was on pace to break Roger Maris's home run record of 61 in a season.
Oh, dang.
But he didn't because season cut short. He was the thing I found online kind of when Googling him. If you remember in 2007, there was the Mitchell report that came out about Major League Baseball players who use performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
He was named in that report as using HGH in 2002 to recover from an injury. So a little bit of a damper, but that was the era that I grew up on. So I'm also
well, hey,
you know what? Like
everybody was doing
whatever.
it.
It was awesome. What a time to be alive in baseball. But the coaches, he's got some coaches that are working with him. Jeff England, he was drafted by the White Sox in '96 and played mostly in their system. But Jeff England moved into the Phillies system in 2003. So,
yes.
And then they've got another coach, Sam Unger, and he's a performance analyst. I don't really know what that is, but sounds very cool.
He's trying to enhance performance, supposedly, but legally
performance enhancing. So yeah, those are our West Coast teams, and of course each you mentioned LA has kind of a star name. I mean they're all stars. Monet Davis for LA. San Francisco has Kelsey Whitmore. She was the number 1 overall pick in the draft for the WPBL. She's also played a whole lot of time with the Savannah Bananas. She was one of the first, if not the first, woman to play in like the Atlantic Coast League. I'd have to look up that actual name, but it was like that kind of a system there. And she's got all kinds of cool Instagram like videos and those kind of things. She's a media personality for sure, social media personality for sure.
Okay.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
And then moving into the East Coast teams, we've got the New York Heights, inspired by Dorothy Height, singular. She was a civil rights and women's rights leader in New York. And they're managed by Rochelle Rocky Henley. And she founded the San Francisco Bay Sox and was a player in Phil Konerko, who was a White Sox player. In his barnstorming league for this team called the Colorado Silver Bullets. So that was in like the mid 90s, and played in the ladies professional league, which only existed for a couple seasons. But she's the only coach in the league right now that has experience in coaching women in baseball. So the other coaches, whatever, might have been in the major leagues or whatever, coaching people, coaching men play baseball. But Rocky's the only one that's got experience in coaching women play baseball, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other coaches working with her on staff there, Stephen Larkin, he spent a majority of his time in the red system, and Jackson Henley. And I can't really find much about them, but I'm sure they're probably related to Rocky in some way, and I'm sure they're probably some kind of a baseball player doing baseball playery things, right?
I really like the name, I gotta say, about New York.
The New York
I think
Heights.
they crushed it.
Yeah, I like
So they were, hand up, they were going to be my favorite team that I was going to stand this year. Because when the teams were released, I said, I'm going to choose based on the logo, right? Which logo gives the coolest logo? And I was like, this New York Heights logo looks sick. Like, the drip is there. I'm ready to rock out in like my pinstripes and navy blue. Like, let's go. And when the merch dropped online, all of it sold out in like 2 seconds, like faster than the Stu York merch drop, like both of them, you know what I mean? And so I get to, this is the story that we'll get into a little bit later, but I get to the game thinking I'm going to buy me like a New York Heights merch thing or whatever, a jersey or a shirt or whatever. And this guy walked out of the merch with like one of the fast passes, like, you're a founder member or whatever, and you get in for free, or like get in earlier than everybody. And like walked out with like a banker's box flowing over with like jerseys and shirts and things. And by the time I got up there was like no jerseys left, like no shirts. The lady at the desk was like, yeah, he bought like $3,000 worth of jerseys and merch and bought us out. Get this.
That's crazy.
For 5 weeks. They won't restock for like 5 weeks.
That's crazy. Okay, so is it every player? They have every player?
No,
up there,
it's just like the blank jersey back. Like it's the authentic rep. Yeah.
That's crazy.
He bought all of the jerseys.
All the New York jerseys?
Yeah, all the Heights jerseys.
All the Heights jerseys. And so I was like, cool, I have to pick a new team now.
Yeah, right? Trying to pick a new team.
Because I can't just like not have a jersey and be a team player. So New York, so that's a little bit about New York. But they've got a couple of social media people that are super fun to follow on the Instagram. Danae Benitez is one that if you're not following her, you need to be following her. She played in those Banana League games too. She played on the Loco Beach Coconuts, and she's number 222 on that team.
Nice.
And so but she's super fun to follow on the social medias. She plays catcher, and in the game, that first game that they played, she hit the first home run in women's professional baseball league history.
Nice.
And I swear, if it wasn't like rainy and wind blowing in, it would have went like 400 feet. But
she crushed it.
She crushed it. So that's New York. And now to get to my favorite team, the Boston Hunters, inspired by Harriet Hunt, the first woman to apply to Harvard Medical School and establish a practice. Their manager is Keith Folk. He played 11 years in the majors as a relief pitcher. He had like a 3.33 ERA. He was a member of the 2004 Red Sox when they won a World Series. And he he threw 6 scoreless innings in the Yankees ALCS when they had to come back from like down 4 games or whatever, or 3 games. So he threw 6 scoreless innings. There he fielded the title clinching out in the World Series. And he led the league in saves in 2003 with listener Tim's favorite team, the Oakland Athletics. Rest in peace, the
Rest in
Oakland
peace,
Athletics.
Oakland Athletics,
They've got a couple coaches. Kevin Drew, he's a performance coach for the Reds, or was a performance coach for the Reds, and Beth Greenwood, who plays catcher. So she's going to be in the role of player coach, which is kind of neat.
Very cool.
So Boston Hunter's there. There's some people to follow on social media there for I don't have all the names off the top of my head there.
That's fine.
Hey,
but yeah, they'll be fun. They'll be fun to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at all the logos again, and really, if I didn't know that Monet was on LA and I didn't have any idea, I probably would have ended up picking Boston too, because they have a bird in their logo, and I do tend to gravitate toward. I like this
bird. No,
no, that's a bell. I think why it's an osprey. I guess Boston has some ospreys, but I like that it has a bat in its talons. I do like, it's kind of like
it's cool.
the Miami Dolphin, how the Miami Dolphin used to have a helmet. Like, oh, this is a bird and it plays baseball, and it's like it's a fan. It's doing the thing. I like when they give the animals the prop instead of it just being, a cool bird.
Okay, here's your Boston Hunter player to watch for. All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sabrina Robinson. Now, Sabrina was playing first base in the game that I watched him play, San Francisco or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And balls hit like third base area, right? Kind of bobbled third baseman. Like I said, bobbles it. And it's like, there's no way she's going to make it. Like, runner's going to be safe. This is frustrating. And throws it. Sabrina does the splittiest splits that I've ever seen in my life. Gets this ball, and I'm like, she's crushing it.
Nice.
She's going to be awesome. So you can watch out for her. She's got some, and John, she's a coach for Philly girls baseball.
Oh, okay. So she's a Philadelphia product.
Yeah,
I guess.
So Kristen, if that helps sway you one way or the other to join the flock.
Boston.
Is it too early for you to pick your team, Kristen, or do you still need more input from Travis?
This is how I feel, and I might just need to watch more games to like really solidify and maybe change my mind. But I obviously can't be the same team as John, so I can't be the Queens. I'm sorry. I can't root for a team in Boston. I can't. Obviously, they're not in Boston.
Hey, this is fine.
Wow.
Right now we've got 2 of the 4 teams selected, so you've got an opening, and there's Travis's former team.
True. Travis is rooting for Boston. I should root for
What do you like,
San
San Francisco?
I feel like I'll just pick New York. Like, I feel like I do love the New York logo. I'm a fan of the Yankees. My family lives there. I don't know. I appreciate having a woman coach. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Okay.
I will pick New York for the time being.
Sabrina also played for the Rocket Squirrels, if that helps.
The Rocket Squirrels.
The Rocket Squirrels. So that's fun. So those are our teams. Those are kind of the coaches. Those are some of the kind of big name players. I mean, there's obviously a whole roster of players that everybody should get to know. That each have stories, that each have cool social media presences and stuff. But here's the cool thing too. Let's talk about this commissioner real quick.
Okay.
Let me tell you about Justine Siegel. Because again, as I said at the beginning, like my entrance into women's sports following to this level of fandom was attack the basketball baseline. And so and when I say the commissioner, bless her heart, Kathy Engelbretson, I'm like, you couldn't be more polar opposite, like in my opinion, of like these people. Like, I don't know, Kathy, I'm sure she's lovely, and I don't want to poo-poo on people, but when I look at and like get to meet and like talk to Justine for just a hot, like when I'm like walking the concourse and like oh crap, like that's the commissioner of the league, just like
right.
out like hobnobbing with like the lowly people in the GA seats. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like got her auto like on a scorecard, like just, you know, a quick like, oh, thanks for coming. Like, well, thank you for having a league for us, Justin. You know,
Justine.
like,
Yeah.
but so Justine has like this really cool story, and like I'm really excited to kind of learn more from what I can find online and stuff. She has like 2 decades, like 20 years plus of breaking like women's baseball barriers. Like,
Nice.
you know, like in my notes I wrote way cooler than Kathy.
Oh,
So
hey,
like
it
Sure.
already sounds like it.
you know, she's the first woman to coach a professional men's team, like the Brockton Rocks in 2009. She's the first to throw batting practice for an MLB team in 2011. In 2015, she was hired by Oakland to be the first female coach for an MLB organization. She's coached Team Israel in the World Baseball Classic. She was the first female coach in professional Japan and in Mexico and Baseball United in the Middle East and South Asia.
Wow.
Whoa.
Like, she's just out there doing it, right?
All over the place.
I was listening to this other podcast, the WPBL official podcast or whatever, and she was talking, and the interviewer, who's also a player, you know, was kind of asking like what, like how, like what's going on, you know, how did you do all this? And Justine said, I felt very alone when I was a girl playing baseball, and I wanted to solve that problem and help other girls like them and women like them, right? Like that's it. And so she founds this. So she's like this 13-year-old girl that's like being told like play softball instead of baseball. She's like, hard pass. Like I want to play baseball. You know, like
Yeah.
Nice.
like keep pushing. I'm going to play baseball. And so she ends up founding this nonprofit organization called Baseball for All, and like that's their job, is like to help like get girls to play baseball, like baseball. And so they have like teams like across the like world, basically. Like in that podcast she was talking about like, oh hey, we go to like London and talk to like the European teams, and like we've got the you know, girls baseball, you know, kind of classic or whatever stuff going on in Rockford, and so she's like, we've got this kind of feeder league, and I think in the podcast she said something like 30 or 50% of people that are like the women that are in the WPBL now have some sort of connection to the Baseball for All organization. And so she's like, yeah, we've seen them grow up. Like we've now have this organization where the girls can now look and say like, there's a professional league for us to play in.
Yeah.
And like,
That's awesome.
it's super cool. So she's like, yeah, we have them we've had them when they were teens and stuff playing this league, and now we're drafting them into a professional system. And so she's super cool. I even forgot to mention, like, she was named in 2017 one of the like 100 most powerful people in baseball. Like,
Wow.
like
Okay.
Major League Baseball. Like she was like,
So they
working for the
knew
system.
she was. Yeah.
She's got juice.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And so that's kind of like Justine and stuff, and the coaches, the teams. Now some people might not be familiar with like is this actual baseball or whatever? Like, yeah, it's like overhand pitching. The mound is 60 feet 6 inches. The bases are 90 feet apart. There's standard men's rules. You know, there's like international. I don't remember what they mentioned it at the beginning, but I can't remember what it is, like international girls baseball standards or whatever. And so like the field, so it sets like the field to 330 at center field. The baselines are like 290. There's 7 innings. They use aluminum bats. The thing I found out right before we started is we were kind of talking about like, oh, the roster spots, right? There's the men's leagues have like, the MLB like has 20 roster spots or something like that, right? They only have 15. And so when you think of like pitching rotations and staff and stuff, it's like sometimes like these women were playing, and it's like, I just saw you playing like center field or like third base or catcher, and like now you're coming into pitch. And so that was
very
kind of
few.
Yeah, so it's kind of like everybody's a pitcher, which is super. For me, I really like that because like I'm a big utility player kind of person, right? Like y'all need to be able to fit into
do everything.
Yeah,
right.
do everything. Like that's what I envision professional athletes being, right? Like
Yeah.
and so like I love that everybody kind of like the everybody a pitcher's mentality. But I found out too that today that the clubs have an option, like when they're setting their lineups for the games, they have an option to use a designated hitter for the pitcher spot, or the pitcher can like hit in the lineup.
Okay. Kind
Right.
of cool.
So like for example, in the Sunday game when it was the San Francisco game, Kelsey Whitmore was the starting pitcher, but she was also like the third batter in the lineup. Right.
Okay.
But on Saturday, New York, their starting pitcher didn't bat. Like they used a designated hitter, so they used Kylie Lanners, right? So you get to choose which one you want to do, which is kind of, again, I'm also grew up in the MLB era where like the National League pitchers hit. Like I miss that. I miss seeing like Carlos Zambrano and like Kerry Wood just like smoke home runs, you know, like and but you know, it's neat to see like everybody playing baseball, you know, like like everybody's a utility player, and it's super fun.
I love that. I saw they have a pitch clock. Am I correct?
They do have a pitch clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they don't, and I'm sure like it might get there, but like they didn't have like the radar, you know, for like
I did
showing
see that. You
like
didn't know the speed.
But like looking online, like apparently you can find like the stats for some of those things, like if you do a deep dive, and I haven't done a super deep dive, but it's like they're throwing like 83, 84 miles an hour. Like
yeah,
these aren't like everybody's like, they're not throwing that fast. Like it's women's baseball. I'm like, no, they're gunning it. Like there are still major league players that don't hit. Like Greg Maddux never broke 90% of the times, and he was like one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, right? Like Kelsey Whitmore's throwing, you know, smoke at like 83, like 80 miles an hour, 77, whatever. But like that's the teams. Those are kind of the things, that stuff.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
Now, in my notes, I have this section that I called "You Had to Be There. Things you won't believe," right?
So, I have seen what we won't believe.
I am not.
The first thing, so if you haven't, look in the show notes and listen to the national anthem.
Yeah. Okay. I guess yes, it'll be in the show notes. Check out the link.
Martha Reeves, who is like in her own right, like a very talented Motown artist. Just bless her heart. Like I don't want to. Again, I don't like poo-pooing on people. Like especially like when I'm just a lowly, you know, pastor in the middle of rural Illinois or whatever. But like
it was an all-timer.
It was. Fergie is happy that this happened. But I mean, I have like people in the crowd that were behind me that were just like, what is this? What are, like, we are witnessing history on more than one scale, right?
I feel like if it was only her, it would have been fine. Or if it was only these other two ladies, it would have been fine. But both of them together was horrible.
Yeah, it was bad. Now, I sent a second link in that prep sheet that I gave you. Did you have a chance to look at that one?
I did. The TMZ.
Yeah. The TMZ
behind
where
the scenes.
they were leaking the rehearsal where Martha goes, she's like, I don't know why everybody's singing with me. Why do I don't even need them. Now,
Fair.
all of that's being said into the microphone over the PA system.
Oh.
And here's the best part. Everybody is waiting in line outside of the stadium and can hear all of that.
Oh, so you knew it was going to happen.
So we were
you knew it was about to be bad.
we were sitting in line. Like this game, like the gates opened at 3:00. I left my house at like 10 a.m., 10:30, got there like a little around 1. I was like 50th in line. And the gates don't even open for like 3 hours or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just sitting there like schmoozing with like all of these people. I'm meeting people from St. Louis, and I'm meeting people from Boston. I'm meeting people who have flown from Dominican Republic. I'm meeting people who have like flown all over Phoenix, so whatever, that are just like here for this moment, and we're just waiting to get in, and it's raining on Saturday, and all of a sudden you hear Martha like in the PA system just like, who's singing my note? Why are you singing my note? I don't even need them. And I'm like, and we're all just like, oh no. Like, and so, whatever. That happened, and so then all of a sudden the guy with like that I mentioned with the box of jerseys walks by everybody, and we're like, what the F is going on? Like, that's so frustrating. But it was cool. The thing they did, I have gone to sports games, like the thing they did was like, if you had a bag that you were bringing in, like you got into one line. If you didn't have a bag and you just had the stuff in your pockets, you got into another one. Nice. Fast pass, baby. Like, don't bring a bag, just fast pass right in there. And immediately get in, and they like I take a wrong turn. I'm like, I need to go to the merch tent first, right? Like, and I kind of told a little bit about this where I'm like, I need to go to the merch tent first. But I'm like, in my mind, I got turned around from where it was at and where I was outside. I'm not great with directions. You can ask, listener Laura and friend of the pod Elizabeth, like them, like when we went to the Phoenix game, like, or the Connecticut Sun game, like getting lost in Mohegan trying to find them. Like,
oh no.
But like, so I took the wrong turn. I turned right, should have turned left. Ended up walking through the entire Boston roster. Like, they were just out, like hanging out. And I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Like, and so
you're like behind, you're like backstage.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Like, so I ended up getting in the merch line, waiting like 20 minutes, got some stuff, kind of cool. But then like later on, like, I got my Monet Davis bobblehead, which was dope.
Oh,
awesome.
And this family of like 14 like walk in, and they're like, we only need one for our house. I was like, I'll take an extra one if you don't want it. Like,
you can give it to me.
Yeah. And so like I ended up with 2, which is
nice.
Cool. And so anyway, get some snacks, get some drinkies, whatever. And I'm walking around, and this line, I kid you not, like wrap, like all the way, the merch thing is like at like home plate, like 20 feet behind home plate, whatever. Went all the way down the third base line, like length, down to the outfield, like wrapped around the columns and kind of wrapped back around itself. There were people telling me it was like 2.5 hours that they were waiting in line to then find out that like they didn't have New York Heights jerseys. Like, like
that man bought all the jerseys.
That like, man bought, which is really funny because like I met this couple. Shout out to Brenda and Caroline from like St. Louis area ish. They super fun. I talked to them in the lines the whole time, but they saw the guy walk out and they're like, of course it's a man who bought all the jerseys. So that was super fun. But the merch line, crazy.
Yeah.
Lines to get into the bathrooms, crazy. Unless you're a boy. And then it was not as crazy. They ended up like posting like security people like outside the boys' bathrooms, like so that women could go in, or like posting security inside the men's bathrooms so the women could go in and use the stalls while men were using the urinals, which was crazy.
Yeah, I would do that.
And so
I mean,
like,
yeah.
and then they ended up like the second game, they were like, there was like one men's bathroom and all the other ones were women's. So,
Good.
Oh, that's funny.
Good.
So
I
they-
mean, a good fix.
they
I guess
updated
you
it.
don't think about that, but like you probably should think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say like just on guesstimate, like what was the percentage of the division of the crowd? Was it like
dude.
80-20?
Yeah, probably like 80-20,
Okay.
like women or like female presenting people,
Yeah.
to men. The for me, it's like it's weird because like I'm comfortable being in like those giant the predominantly LGBTQ queer community stuff, like that's fine, like I don't have a problem with that. But it was like really neat to like to see one, like that community like so represented and like so like supported and those kind of things. And like because like Maybelle Blair will talk about like in one of her interviews talks about like she didn't come out until she was like 95, and like I don't want to tell her story for her, or whatever, but like or just like there were so many players in the 40s and 50s that were like her that like just didn't have that safe space to play, but like they wanted to play ball, and they wanted to be themselves, and that's what that league gave them, and that's what like this league does. But that is like, okay, here I am, like cisgendered straight white man. Like I'm saying, it's like
I'm
like,
sure John feels that way
yeah,
sometimes.
I do.
It's like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like it's like kind of a it's a really like it's a really, for me, like a really great way of like learning to be uncomfortable in spaces that is like it's okay for me to be uncomfortable in those spaces.
Yeah.
I can still be in those, like it's like, so I guess like straight white men, you can still like women's sports.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be like a member of the community. Like you can be an ally and still
It's important to
love
be an
these things.
ally. Exactly.
And so it's super fun to be a part of that. It's also really funny, like when you think of like, like, oh, there's like, it's neat to see like all the little girls and like they've got athletes and things, like, okay, but I also as a 35-year-old man would like an autograph. Like, so it's like all these little kids that are like going up to Kelsey Whitmore and like, hi, like, oh my gosh, like it's so great, you're my favorite baseball player. I'm like, hi, Miss Whitmore, can I get an autograph? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're wearing a Boston Hunters jersey. No thanks. I'm like, then I start looking sad. She's like, I'm just kidding. I was like, okay, thank you, Miss Whitmore. She's like, you can call me Kelsey. Okay, thank you, Miss Whitmore, for signing my baseball. So it's like it's just like one of those really funny, like kind of this space, this moment isn't about me. It's not supposed to be about me. And but at the same time, like still inclusive of people that are in the majority, that are in those positions of power to like do those things, right?
Yeah.
And that's if you want to talk about like the power of sport, and those kind of things, and especially given like kind of all the controversy and stuff that's going on in the W with like I don't want to get into it, but like
we don't have to.
So like, but like with all of that stuff, like it's just nice to like, can't we just have a place where people can play sport and like be themselves and like do the thing that they want to do, you know what I mean, without worrying about like what's in their pants or like like any of those things, and to think like it just like it hurts my pastor heart and just like my person heart, in general, of like thinking that for 95 years someone was like, I can't be who like I want to be, and I can't just come play baseball because of these things, and like that just kind of hurts my heart a little bit. But it's nice, it's super fun, and I love that this league is giving people a place to be able to be who they are and play sport while they're doing it, right? Oh, okay, I guess we could talk about the games a little bit. Like
yeah how are the games?
Games were cool. So Saturday game, super, honestly, like in my opinion, like game probably shouldn't have played. It was so rainy and cold, and like it had rained all day, and it was drizzly and like miserable to sit through, to be honest, like in terms of weather and those things. However, great that it went out. The mayor of Springfield, she threw out a first pitch. Tony La Russa, the former manager for the Cardinals, threw out a first pitch, and it was like his was kind of like, the mayor of Springfield, like, came up close, whatever, she threw it, didn't smoke it into the ground, which was cool. Tony La Russa, I'm like, you played professional baseball and like we're a major. I was like, I'm kind of expecting you to throw from the rubber. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of expecting you to throw 60 feet 6 inches, Tony. He just kind of like walked out there and just like felt like he just like, kind of like signed our, just like, whatever, here it is. Yeah. Flipped it to a kid in the crowd, and then Maybell came out and she threw the last first pitch, which was
absolute
kind of
heat.
dope.
Yeah.
She threw a heater. New York kind of like dominated this game, like in my opinion, for like the first 6 innings, right? Like, and then it's like the top of the 7th, and John's LA Queens were like, hold my beer, like let me just decide to start playing baseball right now. And so they blow a 2-run lead in the top of the 7th, and LA ends up winning, right?
Exciting.
Our social media highlight here of Danae Benitez. She goes 4 for 4 for New York. She scores 3 runs, 2 RBIs, and hits the first home run.
Nice.
Kylie Landers goes 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Rekyung Kim, I might have pronounced her name wrong, but Kim was the New York Heights pitcher. She pitched 4 innings. She struck out 4. She gave up some earned runs on 2 hits. And then Jackie Reynolds comes in relief for like the last 2 2/3. I'm guessing what they were probably trying to do was like a 4-3 kind of split in terms of pitcher allocation there. Jackie comes in for 2 1/3, and she gives up 6 runs on 8 hits. And it was like, I felt so bad because I got to meet her like in the waiting line. Like she came out and signed autographs and stuff. She's super cool. But like it was like she's just giving up single after single, and it was like small ball stuff, right? Like which is like the fun part of baseball to watch, but like if you're playing, so annoying, right? Like it's just so annoying to like can you stop? Like
paper cut.
Paper cut, death by 1,000 hits, right? So then the Queens, they have this woman. Her last name's Andres. She goes 2 for 4. She's got 4 RBIs. Maggie Fox goes 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs and contributes big.
How many runs did they score?
They scored 10. It was 10-8.
Yeah, 10-8. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so Maggie Fox contributes big in the 7th inning comeback. The starting pitcher goes 3 innings. She gives up. This is the thing that I'm talking about. Like the starting pitcher there, she gives up 10 hits and 7 earned runs in 3 innings, right? Like for LA. So like just gets destroyed in like the first few innings. Maggie Fox comes in and pitches 2 relief innings. She gives up 1 hit, 1 run. And then Maggie Medlinger. So there's a Maggie and a Meggie. So that's going to get confused for you, John. She finishes them out. She gets the win. She goes 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs.
Nice.
Fun game, but golly, dude, it was bone chilling just sitting there like in the cold.
It's tough because they can't it's hard to push like the first day. Would have if it was the second day, they probably would have moved it.
Yeah, but the other like, tell me you're in women's sports without telling me you're in women's sports. Like they've got the tarp on the field and they're like, oh, it's time to take the tarp off. And here come the women professional athletes that are like out to help roll up the tarp and stuff. And we're like, don't you have a game to play? Like what is going on?
No one else is there.
Yeah. So they have a ragtag ground crew that, did their best. But yeah, like the women coming out to play and do those things. Now,
how about
Sunday,
day 2 though?
Yeah, day 2. So let me just start the day with day 2. I'm like, it's Sunday. I'm going to sleep in a little bit. I'm going to go down there. The game starts a little bit later, whatever, 5:30, 6:30 or whatever. I'm going to get there. I get there like 2:00. I'm still like 50th in line. So like people are there like breaking the doors down, which is like nuts, right? It's Kelsey Whitmore bobblehead day giveaway. So get there in line, same kind of thing. Family of 14 walks in and I'm like, well, hey, if you don't want that, like I'll take your other. So I got 2 Kelsey Whitmore bobbleheads.
Bang.
Bang Bang got the got a Kelsey Whitmore auto on the baseball, boxing out some kids using my big Kia Stokes elbows here, or Aaliyah Boston elbows, like
Nice.
to box some people out. And so that was fun. Sat behind the shortstop's parents, which was also super fun. ESPN like had them mic'd up for the game, and which was like super cool, like, but also like kind of annoying, if I'm being honest, like just selfishly for me, because they had the camera that's like moving to get their reactions about everything, and I'm like, I'm trying to watch the dang game,
Get him away.
but like the cool thing is like her parents were like super fun to talk to, and like just total vibe, like to like have that kind of access to like the players and like be parasocially connected. Leguizamo is her name. She plays shortstop for
San Francisco.
the Firebells. Yeah. And she's gonna be good too. She crushed it.
Yeah.
But this game was a bloodbath. Like, let me just be honest. Like, it was a bloodbath, and as a diehard day one Boston Hunters fan, this was tough to sit through, to be honest. Like, we're just watching like ground outs, flyouts, fielder's choice. Here's this, here's that, strikeouts looking like, golly. I mean, final score ends up being like 11-3 or 10-3 or something like that.
Yeah, 11-3.
Yeah. And I mean, man, it was just nuts in terms of like, I mean, like I sent you all a text like during the first game. I'm like, man, watch out for New York. And I'm like, I think it's like, watch out for San Francisco. Like after that first game, I know it's a very small sample size, right? It's one game.
Yeah.
But also it's like, they're just like crushing it. Like I felt like and night and day difference in terms of weather, like sunny and like 70s for this game. But like Boston was just serving up burgers like on a silver platter for San Francisco, and they're hitting like, I mean, they didn't hit any home runs, but like it was like top of the fence. Like they all should have been home runs.
They should have gone out. Yeah.
Like should have had like 17,000 home runs in this game for San Francisco.
We did. I did see a little bit of this game. I turned this one on maybe, and I watched I want to say the fourth and the fifth inning when it was already 10-2. And knowing that you have already declared yourself a Boston fan, I was like, wow, this is appropriate.
I know. Like, it's a bloodbath.
How many games do they play? Are they going to play?
The season ends like in mid-September. And so I think did I leave it in the notes? I think they're going to play they're probably playing like 60 games, maybe 40 games, something like that.
Okay.
I think I didn't write it down.
So you'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I'm not super worried.
Them all.
Yeah, last game September 6th.
Yeah, eight total weeks.
Okay.
So it looks like they're playing. No, maybe they're just kidding. They're playing like 20 games, 15 games, or something like that.
Yeah,
is what I'm looking at online.
Each round.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
and
so listeners, go and watch these games because there's really not that many. So make sure you're watching to get the viewers numbers up.
Right. And Justine was talking about that like in that podcast I was listening to about like, okay, well it's kind of a really like tricky, like doing a startup league, and I'm sure Unrivaled like is going through the same thing of like, okay, well we only have a limited number of teams. We can't play these women like 160 games. You know what I mean? Like we can't have them play that many games because they're just gonna get injured, right?
I imagine some sort of expansion next year, assuming it goes well.
So from what I've seen on like Reddit, and which is a dangerous place to rabbit hole to fall down, like as you know from WNBA Reddit, but like from what I've seen on like Reddit and like some Facebook groups and stuff, it sounds as if the plan is to expand, but they'll do like some feeder teams, like kind of, I guess like local, like I guess I say locally, like to me, like regionally, like here, to kind of do like the like Unrivaled does with like development players, like a development pool kind of thing.
Sure.
So I hope that that's kind of what it is. Because in the podcast, Justine had talked about like, okay, well, we'll be in Springfield for this year, and then we plan on moving to like their cities, like or
Okay.
whatever.
Oh, okay.
But
Mm.
that's what she said in the podcast in like March or April or whenever it was that one dropped. But then
Yeah.
like scuttlebutt sitting in those 3-hour lines, like get in was they've signed contracts to stay here for 2 years. So
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if that means like the professional teams or if that means like the second year is going to be like developmental teams that play. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So then like, what if they ended up being like those 4 teams end up playing in those 4 cities and they have 4 more development teams and they play like this condensed season. You know what I mean? And then after like 3 years, they have now 8 teams, so on and so forth. And maybe that's how they're planning to expand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously not privy to any of that information. So like, this is just fanfic at best. So
I would think it would make sense if you do want to do that to then you just stay like San Francisco flies to New York, stays in New York for a week and plays 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you go back. Like you just do series
yeah, like
home and home, and it would work pretty well. Like you wouldn't have to worry about chartering flights every single day like you would, with the W. Baseball is a series based sport, so
yeah,
I can see it.
You'd have like yeah, I mean like right now like the games are they play on like I think this week like they've got a game tonight. Like my Boston Hunters are famously playing tonight.
Playing as we speak.
Correct. And they then there's like on Saturday. Oh, what's the schedule? I think it's like they play now, and then they play like a doubleheader on Saturday, and they play like on Sunday too. So like all the teams. So it's condensed kind of games and stuff. Like a condensed schedule where they're like, we'll just play these games right now, and then get to it. So.
Well,
cool.
I'm stoked. I feel like, especially listener, if you've stayed with us this whole time listening to all that the wealth of knowledge that Travis has about women's baseball right now, I really would love to hear you. Send us an email, attackthebaseline@gmail.com. Can I go to some
new email for a new podcast?
No new email. Well, I mean, we're still attacking the baseline. We're just attacking the first baseline.
Yeah,
that's true. That was already taken actually. So I had
Attack the baseline was already taken.
Attack the first baseline was actually taken. So I just said, oh, okay, we'll use the other one.
Okay.
And connect with us on Bluesky, Instagram, TikTok. We could connect you with Travis if you have any questions for him. I'm sure he would be down to answer questions. I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I'm going to speak on his behalf.
Yeah. Send me questions. I'll do my best to answer them. And kind of be transparent that I'm a just a regular fan. I'm just out here vibing with the teams and trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm not a baseball pro or anything else. I'm just a guy who loves sports and loves watching women's sports and wants to see this league really succeed and grow. And I should have said too, you can watch all these games online, and that was like that was like one of the big controversies too. I should have mentioned that. So initially when the league was dropping and everything, they'd said all these games are going to be streamed free on their YouTube channel, right? Like all the WPBL games are going to be free. And then they end up like 3 days before the season starts, they sign a deal with ESPN. And so now if you're international, from what I'm told, it's free to watch it on the YouTube the YouTube machine. But you can watch all the games on like the Scripps Sports thing or ESPN Select. And people were furious about this in the social medias. Like Facebook groups were livid. Like I've never seen people so mad in my life. And or like after the first day, like social media was just blowing up and they're like, they should have canceled the game. I can't believe they hired this woman to sing the national anthem. Blah blah blah. They ran out of merch. The bathroom lines were too long. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the first game. Like if this is how you guys are gonna act, like go to
Something's
Indiana. Like
always
I'm
gonna
just
go wrong on the first game. It's
yeah,
fine.
like show some grace, like it'll be fine. Like they'll iron these things out.
Yeah, but
It's
that
not
is
gonna
a
be
bummer.
it's a
That
super
TV thing is a bummer.
it's a super bummer and like but it's the same. But I mean we have these struggles now with the WNBA and they've
Yeah.
had 30 seasons to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I pay what $30 a year for League Pass, and none of the damn games are on it. Like this is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, it's a whole thing with, I think,
like
not even just women's sports, like sports in general. It's
yeah,
TV
like
in general. It's hard to watch anything
Yeah.
like oh
these
hey, like
days.
I mean, it's the same thing with like I mean, and I have the same like yeah. To your point, like with the Cubs, like oh I can't even listen, like I can't even watch them on WGN or like anything. He's like oh
Mhm.
what is it's a regional blackout. Like I'm in the region. Why am I blacked out?
Yeah, it's
Like,
crazy.
I don't understand it.
Yeah,
So
it's frustrating.
anyway, but yeah, super fun. Thanks for having me on to talk about all this stuff. And like I said, this place is going to be this league's going to be awesome. And like if you don't sleep on this. Like this is your
Yeah.
chance to get in on the ground level, like
Yes.
ground floor, and watch this thing just like skyrocket. Like
Yes.
if there's anything like that I've learned from like ATV and like being a huge Golden State Valkyries fan, like getting in at the ground level is like always super fun because like literally the sky is the limit. You've already hit rock bottom, and that was like not having a team. You know what I mean? Like rock bottom was not having a team, and like for us, it's been like rock bottom is like we haven't had a league in 70 years.
Yeah.
And now it's like get in, like start doing these things.
Yeah.
There's like the future is woman, like the future is female, like women's sports is taking off. Like get in there, support them, and like it's going to be awesome. I'm like super pumped, and can't wait to go to more games and waiting all the merch lines. Like I'll wait till the cows come home in these merch lines. That means that we get women's baseball for years and years and years, and that little girls can like have sport and like a space where they feel like they can play and be authentic,
heroes
and yeah, and have people to look up to. And so super
Yes.
pumped. Can't wait to attack this baseline. And thanks for giving me a platform, giving the WPBL a platform,
Absolutely.
to speak in on that. So
Yes. Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it too. You were so excited to be on, and I remember you saying, I don't know what I'm gonna have to talk about, and
that's right.
you had so much to talk about, and it was also good.
Yeah.
So Travis,
It's especially good for us because
yeah,
there is a lot of hype around the city around Monet Davis. I hear people talking about Monet Davis all the time.
Yep.
I was not here to experience when that was going on.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, like like you, John. Like I remember watching Monet Davis like pitch in the Little League World Series, and I'm in rural Illinois, so like clearly the hotbed of like equality and like those kind of things. And so it's like watching people like, why is this little girl playing in this sport or whatever? It's like it's because of this. Like
because
now, like 30
too.
years later, like
Right.
to be able to say like, hey, we're like there's 10-year-old Monet is now like, I'm so glad that there's a league for me to play in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kelsey, like if you watch any of Kelsey Whitmore's socials, like she talks about it all the time of like, 6-year-old Kelsey, when she was playing baseball, and like 6-year-old Kelsey this and my 6-year-old self. I want to make my 6-year-old self proud. And like the funny thing was like or the really like heartwarming, like endearing thing was like, I was looking at her Instagram page or whatever, and she posted this reel about like her mom like printed out like her 6-year-old like self like as a baseball player and like brought her pictures like fathead kind of style to like the crowds.
That's cute.
So yeah, but anyway.
Excellent stuff. Well,
Yes.
I think that's going to do it for the inaugural episode of Attack the First Baseline.
Look, people, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, don't
too
get
much.
your hopes up. Kristen and I have a lot to talk about with the W. That is a full-time gig, and it is not our career. So I can't say expect a lot of WPBL content. However, if some major news happens, we'll probably throw it in the news portion of the W.
Maybe when the playoffs come around.
Yeah, absolutely. And Travis, we'll have you on to talk Valkyries with listener Tim at some point as well.
Yeah, so him and I can argue about him. 'Cause
Uh-huh.
I'm sure we have opposite takes on a lot of things.
On a lot of things. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I'm gonna do the thing I'm gonna ask for both of you.
Oh,
I'm staring at the first baseline, and as always, Kristen and Travis, what am I gonna do?
attack.
Attack it.
Attack the baseline. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon about the WNBA.